All right, let's jump right in. We're about to tackle one of the biggest, most important conversations happening right now, AI ethics. And we're going to look at it through this really powerful lens, this one core idea, thinking of AI as a magic wand. So, let's get into why that's both so incredibly exciting and also pretty dangerous.
So, is AI really a magic wand? It's a great question, right? This idea comes from K. Firth Butterfield at the World Economic Forum, and it really gets to the heart of how a lot of us see AI. As this almost mythical tool that could solve anything, from curing diseases to fixing climate change. But you know how it goes with magic. There's always a catch.
And just like in any good story, this magic wand has two sides. On the one hand, you've got this incredible, world-changing promise. Curing disease, revolutionizing healthcare. I mean, wow. But then, you flip it over, and there's the danger. Biased AI making unfair decisions, people losing jobs, and all of us losing our privacy. That tension, right there, is the thing we absolutely have to get right.
And look, this isn't some far-off science fiction problem. This is happening today. As one IBM expert put it, you might have no idea that an AI is deciding the interest rate on your mortgage, or if you even get an interview for that job you wanted. Its influence is already all around us, and a lot of the time, it's completely invisible.
So if we have this powerful magic wand, how in the world do we govern it? To figure that out, let's start by zooming out to the global view. Well, instead of jumping to create a bunch of rigid laws that could totally stifle innovation, the world is leaning toward this approach called soft governance. The whole idea is simple but powerful. Don't restrict the technology, guide it. It's about creating smart frameworks and guardrails that let us make progress, but do it responsibly. And let me tell you, the urgency to get these guardrails in place has just exploded. Get this, back in late 2015, you could fit one of the first big meetings on this topic in a small conference room. We're talking about 12 people. By August of the next year, it was 120. And today, over 2,500 people are working on AI ethics all around the world. In just a few years, this went from a tiny niche chat to a top global priority. Okay, so what does soft governance actually look like in the real world? Let's take the UK as a case study. The government there wanted to work with more AI startups, but they needed a solid ethical framework to do it. So they worked with the World Economic Forum, co-developed some guidelines for how to buy AI, and boom, they managed to grow their AI economy and set a standard for using it responsibly. And here's where it gets really powerful. That model from the UK, it's not just staying in the UK. It worked so well that now 15 other countries are planning to adopt the very same framework. And this is how it works. This is how one smart idea can ripple out and become a global standard. So that's the view from 30,000 feet. Now, let's zoom all the way down to the company level and see how they're trying to build trust brick by brick. For any business, getting this right is not just a nice-to-have, it is a must-have, because a staggering 80% of AI projects stall out and die in the testing phase. And the number one reason isn't the technology, it's trust. If people, even the people inside the company, don't trust what the AI is telling them, then the tech is basically worthless. So, how do you actually build that trust? Well, it really comes down to 5 pillars. First, you need fairness, making sure the model treats all groups equitably. Then you need explanation ability. You have to be able to pop open the hood and explain how it's making its decisions. Next up, robustness, which is really about making sure it's secure from hackers or manipulation. Then there's transparency. You have to be upfront that an AI is even involved. And finally, holding it all together is privacy, making sure user data is protected. You need all 5. And holding up that whole checklist is a core philosophy which you can boil down to 3 principles. First, AI should be a partner. It's here to augment our intelligence, not replace us. Second, you own your data. Simple as that. The data and what's learned from it belong to the creator. And third, no black boxes. These systems absolutely have to be transparent and explainable. Okay, we've seen the global view and the company view. Now let's bring them together. Because this whole challenge, it's about way more than just technology. This is why people call AI ethics a socio-technological challenge. It sounds academic, but the idea is simple. You can't just code your way out of a problem like bias. These are deeply human problems, tied to our society. And that means the solutions have to be human too. So a real solution has to be a partnership between 3 equal parts. You've got the tooling, which is the tech itself. You've got the people who build and use it. And you've got the processes that govern it. Think of it like a 3-legged stool. If any one of those legs is weak, the whole thing just falls apart. And let's just focus on that people part for a second, because it's so important.
This is all about building diverse teams. There's a proven theory called the wisdom of crowds, and it shows that when you have more diverse groups, they just make fewer mistakes. When you apply that to AI, it means a team with different backgrounds, different experiences, is way less likely to accidentally build their own biases and blind spots right into the system.
So where does this all leave us? Well, that brings us to the final and maybe the most important part of this whole story, our turn. What is our role as individuals in shaping what comes next?
I want to leave you with this really powerful invitation from Kay Firth Butterfield. She says, every one of you could join our work. Every one of you could be part of the community that actually helps shape the future of AI. This isn't a conversation that's just for data scientists and CEOs. It's a conversation for everyone. For you.
Because in the end, that's really all AI is. It's a tool. An unbelievably powerful tool, sure, like a magic wand. But it's still a tool in our hands. Which leaves all of us with the biggest question of all. What will we choose to build with it?